Hey, down in front. Yeah, all right.
Yes, sir.
So,
Stinger,
Infinity
baby.
Pool.
Newer movie from this year,
Yes.
2023 release.
Do we know who was responsible? Director and all this?
No, I
Okay.
don't.
Gotcha.
We'll give you props at the end.
One of the Skarsgård kids.
Yes.
It wasn't Bill, was it? No.
No. It's,
Eric.
I believe.
Yeah.
I cut it out of the thing, but yeah, Skarsgård and Mia Goth are the
Yes.
mains.
Mia Goth always I always feel like I know what I'm about to get when I go into a film with her in it,
Mm-hmm.
and then she always surprises me,
Yeah,
in the film.
I
She's
mean,
a really good actress.
It was and incidentally
like
plays an
range-wise?
actress, which is pretty funny.
Talking range.
Yeah, she
Okay.
just
Insane range.
She
Even
was
just
in
the movie,
she was in Disturbia.
yeah.
She on the Amazon Prime that we watched.
I love Disturbia.
Or no, Suspiria. Good
Suspiria.
lord.
I was gonna say,
That's
that's-
wait.
The Suspiria.
That one chick
she
was a PacSun model back in the day.
Yeah, she was one of the girls who gets twisted up in the room downstairs or whatever. Yeah.
all that.
But yeah, either way, I love that she's in weird films. She is weird in this film,
Love it.
and there's just a lot of scenes in this movie that were just really odd and uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Very tense throughout the entire film.
I love what I loved about there's two main things that I loved about this film. Oh, actually three. Cinematography was very good. We'll just get that off the bat. Camera angle, shot composition,
Yeah.
all that was just great. How it would set up emotions in just how they would hold on a shot, or
Do you
just see the
remember-
ocean. And
Was it suspenseful too?
Oh,
Not suspenseful. It was way more tense than
Okay.
it was
and this
suspenseful.
is getting
Gotcha.
into one of the other factors that I liked about it was that it would keep you guessing of what's actually happening. Like you'd go through this kind of plot line, and you're like, all right, it's going in this direction, and dude is like, in with da da da, and then something would happen. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah,
And then you're like, okay,
Love
now
that.
I'm settling into this kind of story. Like, all right, this is what's happening, and then
like
wait,
that.
what?
and then it would flip, and then
It was really cool.
So you're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on the entire time, and then you're just like, well, scrap that theory.
Yeah, kind of.
Like that.
Yeah.
I love that.
One, just to tie into what Mike said, another thing that I liked about this film was the ending kept you wanting to talk about it with people who you either viewed it with or people who have seen it before.
That was going to be my third thing, is the many interpretations that you can make off of this film.
Well, and the other thing that it kind of made me and you passively do was it kind of made it made it so I could refer it to people to go and watch it.
Yep. I did.
It was just one of those things where I was like, I'm having a hard time explaining it. You just got to watch it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just think that it's a strong suit for it.
For sure.
I don't think I think for people who enjoy thriller movies that are kind of mind game movies, this is definitely a good movie to
100%.
watch. Put this one on your list. I think the performances from the Skarsgård guy, Eric or whatever the fuck. I know he plays Eric.
The wife was good.
Yeah, she was great. Mia Goth's performance was just so good. Everybody's acting in it was really good. And just the initial plot line that when it drops and flips the first time was a very odd feeling that I haven't really felt in a long time. It's been a long time since a thriller's kind of played that card and it panned out well.
Thrilled you?
Yeah, and it was something. The movie was like watching a train wreck, just in slow motion that you just couldn't look away. I just found myself I was just engrossed with what was happening on the screen.
Right.
So,
and then to touch on like that changes and then like the what factor and all that, it's not things that you have to be like very conscious of and like super paying attention to things that people are saying and all
Right.
of that kind of thing. You can, and that will alter the interpretations that you may have. But the story itself, like it is kind of straightforward until it flips, and then it's straightforward and then it flips, and
Yeah.
it's not something that you're like confused necessarily.
There
about.
isn't like multiple things happening and then like flip to it. is
No,
there?
no.
It's just basically one line, but it's like
Yeah, your
gonna take a left
perception of
turn.
what that line was.
right. I'm gonna take a left turn when you think you got shit figured out.
Right.
Gotcha.
yeah, it's like stuff that's going on that you think you know what's gonna happen, and then you're like, wait a minute, what?
I feel like this is the best way I can describe it. Kind of is like you're going down you're looking at the road coming. You're like, all right, there's a right hand turn coming up, but it turns out you're looking in the rear view mirror and it's a left hand turn.
Right? Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
Fine,
Yeah.
it's
You're like, yep, I see it. It's wait, what? Okay, it's still a road, but it's going this way, and I was not looking the right direction.
Yeah.
You were looking in a mirror.
Right, but you didn't know that you were looking in
Right.
a mirror.
Well,
Dude, you just mind fucked the hell out of me.
Well,
right there.
it's like it's one of those.
There's a
things
right hand turn
where,
coming up, but it's
It's a
actually a
left.
mirror and it's a left. But
I mean, there was
Thanks,
just
Mike.
plenty of points in this movie where we both were like, what is going on, dude? Like, I thought this was happening, and then they would flip it and be like, I don't even know what's going on now. Like,
Right.
and then there was just scenes in it like that were just sheerly uncomfortable, like to watch
And how
on
they
screen.
painted the characters too.
Hmm.
Like they wrote the characters very well to where you sympathize and you can really like get into their cognitive state, I guess. And like just see where they're coming from and feel the emotions that they would be feeling, and it was just well written, well done.
Yeah. So
Cool film.
out of final verdict.
Final
like,
verdict.
yeah,
I'm signed with a 9 on this one. Like it's definitely high up there.
Yeah, this one for me was probably gonna be an 8.
Okay.
I think it's definitely a must see. Very impressive movie. It's smaller studio.
That's why I kind of give it a little higher, because it's not a big budget movie and they knock
No.
it out of the park with it.
No. And there was a lot of stuff in this movie that kind of just really big shocked me, and in a good way. And it made me want to talk about it after I watched it. So
I want to see more like this, and it gets into like that divide between independent films now and the big studio Hollywood films, that the Hollywood films, they put so much in the visuals and stuff, but there's no substance to the story.
Right.
And this one is like, they didn't need all of that. They still had some really crazy visual stuff. And
But the story was so good.
right.
Yeah.
But the story is written so well, and it leaves you impacted. Like you come out thinking like, oh, okay, there's a message to a degree behind it,
Right.
I guess, with power and wealth.
Yeah.
That's a big factor in things, and it deals with today's social climate and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Not heavy-handedly, but like I said, it makes you think, and that's not what you get from the movies that get $5 million budgets and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, you have the money to put into it.
Yeah.
That should be your focus.
Well, and just like you said, there's a lot of questioning things after the movie of just generalized life things where you're just like, if I was in this situation, what would I do? Like,
Yeah.
where it makes you think about certain things, and there's, to me,
Dude, my ADHD brain's gonna go fucking nuts.
yeah, I mean,
But even still, like, it's while you're watching it, it's not like a calculation going on. Like, wait, but it's just like, this is the facts now, and you take them as they are,
yeah,
and then you make what you want at the end, kind of.
the one thing that I'll just touch on or whatever before this will be my end point or whatever is the whole movie, you're along with the main character, and it really did feel like you were experiencing things through him
Yeah.
for the first time.
So when the end hits, it hits.
Yeah,
say that.
and you know, and the main character, you can tell that, you know, there's again, the Skarsgård guy killed it in this. His acting is very good. And I just, you know, there are certain things like, you know, a scene with him and Mia Goth in the forest where she just, you know, does some weird ass shit to him, and I remember when we were watching, I'm like, jeez, what's happening?
At that point in the film, you really don't really know what's going on. It's a lot of setting up, and once it starts going, it's going.
Yeah.
But yeah, that part's definitely confusing.
Well, confusing and uncomfortable.
But it
and
puts you
weird,
in,
and
again, it frames you in that main character's perspective, where you're like, I don't know what's going on, dude.
Right. And that's
so good.
kind of my point, was it's like there are things that happen in the film with the main character or through the main character, whatever, where it really does feel like you're there with him.
100%.
You know, and I don't know, man, it was a cool film. It made me not question a lot of things, but it just made me just think about stuff. And I like films that kind of provoke thought. So 8 out of 10.
9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Definitely go check it out.
It was good.
So good, so good, so good. So, moving on to